Hello and welcome to another episode of Garden of Glass. It's a bonus episode, you know what I'm saying? Not really a video going with this one, so my apologies, but yeah, bonus episode. Got my uncle with me.
Good morning.
Tim Moore.
That's me.
We're sitting up here at the lounge, you know, having a good cigar and a cup of coffee. We're talking about movies. We talked about the movie Megan. Well, first off,
Okay.
what cigar are you having this morning?
Today I have a Montecristo Espada, one of my favorites. The best way I can describe it is it's a full body, but it's real smooth. One of the smoothest cigars that I smoke, and it's one of my go-tos. I love it. Not a big Montecristo fan, but this is one of my favorites right here.
Oh, cool. And I always got my go-to. Well, I ain't gonna say always, but got my go-to, my Sweet James by Deadwood. I've already kind of given the description beforehand, but it kind of have a chocolatey type taste to it. Really smooth. I mean, you can pretty much pair it with anything, but yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much it. So yeah, going with the movie Megan.
Yeah, it's worth the watch if you like, sci-fi stuff, and it's kind of predictable. I mean, I've seen it before in another type movie because it's dealing with AI and all of that. So but it's worth a watch one time at least.
All right, now you had mentioned, Twilight Zone.
Yeah, Twilight Zone. That the guy who made the Twilight Zone, Rod Serling, was ahead of his time. I'm telling you, because when you watch the old Twilight Zone, the original ones, the subjects he dealt with. I mean, he dealt with all kind of social issues within that show.
Mm-hmm.
And most sci-fi movies or shows today,
mm-hmm.
when you watch them, you can trace them back.
Wow.
I'm telling you. I mean, you name almost any movie that's dealing with anything sci-fi or even scary movies, somehow you can pick up the influence of the Twilight Zone. That's how much of a genius he was.
I mean, so they say that there's no such thing as, original content or
Mm-hmm.
original ideas.
Right.
Who do you think he kind of got those ideas from? Or can you go back that far? Or can you think of anything that you've seen that he may have kind of...
I think there are original ideas. And I think
okay.
Yeah, because there's nothing before that you can say was like the Twilight Zone. And I remember being younger, and I thought the Twilight Zone, I thought it was a scary show, kind of like there's another show, black and white show. Anyway, so I always thought it was scary, but it's not. It's not a scary show. It's a mixture of sci-fi, and,
like a sci-fi thriller.
Yeah, it's just a mixture of all those things. And of course, all the episodes are different, and they all have a theme. And I'm telling you, the man, he was a genius.
Now, I heard a few years back that Jordan Peele was supposed to bring back Twilight Zone.
He did. He brought it back. They did some episodes,
but it just didn't take off.
I don't think it hit. Yeah. I'm going to watch them. I haven't watched them yet.
Yeah.
I said I was going to watch them, but it's kind of hard, to watch a reboot. From something that's so original and good.
Now, have you seen Nope?
Yeah, I just watched it last week.
Nope.
It
wasn't it for me. I like the performances,
right?
You know what I'm saying, from the actors, but
right?
The whole storyline, I'm just like, I get it, but then I don't, and sometimes I don't want to go to the movies to have to think that
overthink,
much.
Yeah, to think.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I felt like Get Out and what was the other one? Us was a good, like, lasting piece afterwards to kind of think over. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and see, that's the thing, though. when you watch Get Out, Us, and Nope, Twilight Zone, I'm telling you,
Really?
I tell anybody, watch all the episodes.
Do you think that was kind of an homage then to the guy who made Twilight Zone, the reason why Jordan Peele wanted to do
possibly so? I'm sure he had to be a fan of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, had to draw some type of inspiration.
You have to. I mean, because I'm telling you, because originally the Twilight Zone, I think they were 30 minutes long, and then later on, some of the later episodes, I know the 4th season was, I think, an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say, now there's one or two that's, well, maybe more than one or two that are eerie, that are like, ooh,
chills.
Yeah, because there's an episode. This is a quick episode, and there's an old lady. She's in the house, and every night her phone rings. Every night, and when she answers, all she hears is like somebody trying to say something. So she's like, every night, who is this? Why are you calling me? So finally, what she does, she has the phone company go out, trace the line, and see what the line is. So that they went out, traced the line, and the line was loose at the end, but it was loose in a graveyard where her husband died.
Wow.
Is that that type of thing?
It's kind of like, you seen a Black Phone before?
No, I remember you talking about it.
Please watch Black Phone.
Please
watch
it's
Black
good.
Phone. Yes,
it's a movie or a show?
It's a movie.
Oh, it's a movie. Okay.
And it's crazy because
but you see what I'm saying?
It has that similarity because this little boy gets locked in his room and it's his black phone in there, and it keeps ringing. So he picks it up and he hears somebody trying to talk, and then hangs up. And every night, or throughout the day or whatever, the phone will ring, and finally he picks it up, one day, and this kid starts to talk.
Wow.
And I don't want to tell you too much about it.
I want to see it now.
It's good.
Okay.
It's good.
What is it on,
I'm not sure.
I'll check.
I'm not sure. It may be on HBO Max, maybe.
The Black Phone. Okay.
Black Phone. Yeah.
I may watch that today.
Yeah, it's really good.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's a good example. That's a new movie. You can watch it. If you watch that movie, you won't know that there was a Twilight Zone.
Right.
That's what I mean. And if you pick any sci-fi movie or scary movie, even if I've seen it, I can probably point to a Twilight Zone episode that deals with, it won't be identical, but it deals with that subject. I'm telling you, the man, I'm telling you, when I say genius, it's like it's almost like, how they talk about Tesla, how it's almost like he was from another planet with the things he came up with, as far as electricity. Rod Serling is the same way. The genius, it's like, and it's so simple. It's simple. It's not like, what did that mean? You're gonna know what it means by the end of the show, or even halfway through. And like I said, there are a couple of ones that are like, whew, kind of eerie, but there's so much. It's just so much, man. I love them. That's why every year, every New Year's they do a marathon. Every
Twilight.
And every year, which I'm going to buy the box set because there's no point in not.
And it's crazy because Twilight Zone is what, like 30 years old, 40 years old?
No, it's like
50, maybe?
It's old because it came out in the late 50s.
Oh, wow.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
He was dealing with these concepts back then.
Wow.
And putting them on screen. So,
still relevant.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of anything, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Topic shows, movies, books,
man,
that can hold that test of time like that.
Test of time, yep.
Twilight Zone and Michael Jackson are pretty much only two.
Might have been born the same year.
Right.
Late 50s, yeah. It came out, I think the first episode was like 58, 59, something like that. So yeah, over 70 years.
I don't know if you sent me this video or maybe Mario sent me this video of this guy who was talking to these kids in his classroom or something like that. And this little girl asked you know, would there ever be a female president?
I sent it to you. Yeah. I sent it to you last night.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Right.
Yeah. And,
it's like he predicted it.
Right. And he said, you know, he would love to see a female president.
Right.
But the only way that will happen would be if
the president died.
The president, of course, was a man.
Right.
And then there was a female vice president.
Right.
And the president dies.
Right.
And she becomes president.
We have a young lady wanting to become president of the United States.
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become president of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law.
And I think...
So we're living in that time now.
Right.
And everybody thinks that Joe Biden ain't. You know what I'm saying?
He's probably already dead.
Right.
He's showing old clips of him.
Right. Right. But so, which leads me to think that, okay, maybe he will before the election, or he's going to win again, and then that's when it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's possible, and I pray not.
And
but
and
you know,
and a majority of his second term
will be her. Yeah, I pray to every God in existence that doesn't happen. Not because I like him, I can't stand either one of them.
Right.
And she is.
You see what Trump was talking about, the N-word? You see that video?
I don't think I saw that.
So he had a speech, and he was talking about. He said we have to stop using the word nuclear. He said there's two N-words that you should never say.
Oh wow.
He said we all know the first one.
Right. Oh wow. I didn't.
And the second one is nuclear.
I didn't.
Danger than it's ever been in, because of a word known as nuclear. Nuclear is so devastating that we don't even want to talk about it. And that was a word that was never supposed to be mentioned. You have two N-words, neither of which should ever be mentioned. I said that once. I said, oh, what a terrible thing to say. No. You have two N-words. You know what the one is, but the other is the nuclear word. Not supposed to ever be mentioned. Ever, ever, ever. It's mentioned every single day.
I'm telling you.
And like, I died laughing, man, because it's like, it's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you or how you may feel about him or you know, whatever. But it's like the sheer entertainment of it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when you really look at the US, it's just a big reality TV show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's nothing but different pieces, different parts that you can pick out that it's just sheer entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And I don't look at a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff that I see. I don't just jump to it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, this is true. This is true. But I like to take my mind there as if it may be true.
Possibility. Yeah.
I bring myself back because okay, you know what I'm saying? Because if it doesn't directly affect my life, or I don't have any really hard-hitting facts to really base it off of, I just kind of continue going on with everything, you know. But I know I had a conversation the other day with one of my friends talking about, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad that I'm here. I think here lately I'm growing into being more thankful and grateful for a lot of things that I may have complained about or just kind of overlooked or, you know, didn't realize that I had privilege.
Yep.
You know,
it's true.
I watched this, I listened to this interview of this, for this woman named Yomi Park. And she's from North Korea.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
And, you know, she was just saying how she had to cross like, frozen terrains and lakes and stuff just in order to get from North Korea, get into China, to be able to come here. And her mother were sold as sex slaves.
Wow.
Yeah. And she was only like 12, 13, and then she finally made it over here, and she was just like, she was amazed not only by the freedom and just, the abundance of things, but she said the first time she saw people talking about the president, she said, oh, that person's going to die. She was blown away that you could talk about these political figures or these people who run the country so openly and so freely without any ramifications, like without anything. She was like, if we were to even say anything over there, we would get killed.
Yep.
She said the things that people worry about or think about, she said it really blew her mind, because every day the only thing they thought about was survival. She said we were eating rats and bugs and plants. And of course, when it comes to, in the wintertime, all of this stuff dies. She said a lot of us died.
Yeah. Wow.
And they called it something like, the death season, because a lot of them died out because they didn't have enough to survive.
Yeah.
So like every day, that's all we thought about was how could we survive? So to come over here and people thinking about, oh, well, I don't know what to wear.
Right.
Oh, I don't know what to eat.
Right. Which restaurant to eat.
Right.
And it's a complaint.
And people actually are depressed at the fact that they can't figure out what to eat or what's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm grateful now for the things that I do complain about.
Yeah.
Thankful that I don't have to think about me surviving today.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's true.
She said also, if you do a crime over here, you're punished.
Right.
You go to jail. You have to suffer whatever consequences for your actions. She said, but there, they go back generations. So they'll get you and your parents and your parents' parents. Cool. And they put them all into camps.
Wow.
And different camps have different sentences. So you don't do anything because you don't want to jeopardize your family or your children or stuff like that by you doing something.
Yeah.
She said, even over there, she said, the only place that is really nice is the capital of North Korea. She said, but you even walk the streets and there's no advertising.
Wow.
She said, there's billboards, but there's rules on the billboard.
Wow.
So you never forget what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to live. Because as soon as you step out of line, we're coming to get you and everybody else who's affiliated with you.
And it goes back to what you said last week. This is why a lot of foreigners, when they come here, one of the reasons they become so successful, because it's kind of like, I look at it as you put a man in the water and you tell him to run.
Mm-hmm.
So he spends 8 hours a day in water running, training. Well, you take that same man and you put him on land, he's going to run much faster because there's nothing holding him back like water was.
Right.
So a lot of the foreigners, when they come, they have such I think one of the reasons they're so successful, number one, because they're family oriented. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, they have such motivation because it's like, wow, we couldn't open a shop back where we came from.
Yeah.
We couldn't even open a shop and sell whatever we want.
Right.
Over here, we can open up a shop and sell whatever we want.
Yeah.
And we only have to pay taxes. So for them, it's like, well, it's a win-win.
Yeah. And they're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, because they said one of the, I was listening to Thomas Sowell again, he was talking about why is it that certain groups succeed so much greater than others. And he said there are many different reasons. But he said none of it has anything to do with race, even though people think it does. He said it has nothing to do with race.
Right.
It's an ethic. He said it's a work ethic. He said, number one, these families tend to stay together longer, like under the same roof. Mm-hmm. So all the money's coming to one pot. And then as they make more money and then they spread out, he said, but they're so family centered.
Yeah, they build a foundation first.
The foundation for a long time. He said,
Right.
so that's, and some generations come knowing that they won't be wealthy, but they know that their children will.
Right, right.
They know they're, it's kind of too late for them to become wealthy, but they can make a living and then pass it on to the children, and children, build on that. It's a different motivation.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the difference. And they did a study. So why is that so many black children are failing in schools and stuff like that? Well, when they did the research, they found that, the numbers aren't exact, but you'll get the point. They said the research showed it wasn't that black children are any dumber. It said that the amount of study that they put in a week, it said like the average, for example, the average Chinese child spends like 10 hours a week studying.
Yeah.
The average white child, 5 hours, but the average black child, 2 hours.
Yeah.
He said, so that's going to make the difference in the grades. It's going to make a difference about the graduation rate, the ability to read. He said, so there's so many other factors. And it goes back to the family. He said, when the family structure is stronger, everybody's more successful. The children they're in a better environment.
Yeah.
They're more balanced. And so they tend to do better, in those situations. So there's so many things. It seems like a black and white issue.
It's really not.
But when you dig deeper and you look at other possibilities too, there's so many other factors that play into things.
And then like I really hate to hear, oh, well, they're over here taking our jobs. And I'm like, okay, really, let's step back and look at it. What job have they actually taken from you? You're not willing to go do nobody's roof.
Yeah.
You're not willing to do the dirty jobs that they're proudly willing to do because don't nobody else want to do them like that.
Right.
And then bring their family into it. It's like, what I'm saying, the people that did my roof, I'm pretty sure they all knew each other.
Yeah.
All of them were family. You know what I'm saying? It was even a female out there helping.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but you want to complain about, oh, well, they're taking our jobs, they're not paying no taxes, this and that. Okay, you don't mind calling them whenever you need the job done that you don't want to do.
Right.
Well, okay, well, tell them to go ahead and go back and see how many people you have willing to do that job.
Yeah, and I have my issues with immigration. I have my issues with it. But one thing I'll say too, with those who come from other countries who do those things, one guy, I don't know if he was from Mexico or I forgot where he was from, but he said one of the things that they do when they come here, he said they help each other as they go along. For example, he said, my buddy needed a new truck.
Yeah.
He said, so we all pitched in and bought him a new truck. When I needed something, we all pitched in. He said, so everybody's helping, not just family, their friend, everybody's helping everybody to get, so eventually we all got new trucks.
Right, and now that one person with a truck, it helped me get back and forth to work.
That's what I'm saying. It's like there's
a community. A
community that they really believe in and practice that makes them successful.
And that's my gripe when it comes to black people. Sometimes it's like, you say buy black, do this black, cool, I'm all for that. But look at the way that we treat stuff that is black.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We go into other businesses or other, establishments and we don't treat it that way.
It's a difference.
And then sometimes when it comes to our stuff, we don't respect that establishment the way that we should.
Yep.
But then we want to preach at the same time, oh, well, we need more of this, we need more of that. Okay, well, a lot of us are afraid to do it because of the way that we tend to treat our own stuff.
Yeah.
And then look at it like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? You know how it is. No, I don't.
I don't. I really don't.
I don't, because business is business. But then you want to get on me for going with somebody else. Mm-hmm. Well, I went with them because they got the job done.
Because at the end of the day,
that's what I want.
That's what you want.
Done. Yeah.
And also sometimes this whole buy black, it's almost like at some point, you have to see yourself as a part of a whole. And the bottom line is, this is America. You're an American. If you're born here, you're an American. And I think that, I don't know, I guess I see things sometimes that you notice as you get older. And they say as you get older, you automatically become more conservative. Just by living, you just automatically, your views change as you get older.
Yeah.
And then when I see, like you said, you know, the way sometimes some black people treat other black people's stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why would I open up a shop over here just for it to get robbed and door kicked in?
Just like, okay, I'm going to cut you off,
Mm-hmm.
but just like this other cigar lounge, I ain't gonna name it.
Right.
But I'm like, it's already been fights and stuff.
That's what I mean.
And it hasn't even been open a year yet.
It has not been open a year. So why would I be motivated to go there? I don't want to go somewhere where I feel unsafe.
Right, exactly.
I'm trying to relax.
Right.
Not feel unsafe.
Right. I gotta bring my gun and a bulletproof
Right, have
vest
to.
and
Yeah, I don't want that.
combat boots, and I'm like,
Right, always ready to, like you in the Wild West, always
Right.
ready to have to be ready to draw. Nobody wants to be in a relaxing set. That's not relaxing. Like Eddie Murphy said in life, that's not high, that's low.
right. and another thing that I thought about, and this may be a unpopular opinion, and I'm making some scrutiny behind it, but oh well.
Mm-hmm.
We say black establishments, or sometimes, you know what I'm saying, oh, well, you know, we want to make this a black-only place or black-only business. That's cool. But how would we feel
See, that's my thing.
if somebody said, oh, well, this is a white-only place? Then we'll be up in arms.
Up in arms.
Oh, well, you know, you don't want to let black people in, and you don't want to let, you know what I'm saying, nobody else in. Okay, well, you're doing the same thing.
Same thing.
Right?
And that's why I don't really, when I hear the term, you know, black-owned business or support black, there's a part of me that I can understand what you're saying, but
Right.
a part of me, it bothers me to some extent. And
Right.
it's for that reason, because my thing is, like Candace Owens said, if you want to find out if something's racist, just change the race. If you think that all you do is change the race and say the same thing, then you'll find out if it's racist or not.
Right.
Like the business thing, you know, black owned. Okay, well, change it and let it be white owned, white support. Then you'll see how racist it sounds.
Yeah, then it's white supremacy.
That's what I mean. So it's like,
you know,
my thing is, I don't like when people lead with black. I don't like that. If you're a black man to open the business, it's not a black business. It's a business.
Yeah.
The man who owns it happens to be a black man. But it's not to me, it's not a black, it's like this place here is owned by a white man.
Right.
It's not a white business, even though the guy's white. But
Right.
you don't lead with the color. I have a problem. I'm having more and more of a problem when people lead with the color issue.
And I think that's where Morgan Freeman said in the interview.
He did, yeah. I agree totally with him.
He said the only way we get rid of racism is let's stop talking about it.
Mhm.
He said I don't say, hey, you know what I'm saying, so and so this a white man.
White man.
I said no.
He's a man. His name.
I say your name.
I say what his name is.
I'm like,
he's a man.
I mean, what does it matter what color you are?
It doesn't.
Black History Month you find
Ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
No, I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
It's like, so I know that I'm black, but I mean, just call me Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, the man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The so-and-so, you know what I'm saying, this woman. and just leave it at that.
Leave it at that. You know, and that's why the whole thing of another touchy subject is, you know, police brutality, things like that. How whenever there's a shooting or whatever, and it's a white cop, a black person that's killed, immediately it's a racial issue.
Yeah.
But if a black cop kills a white guy, there's no mention of it being a racial issue. Or if a black cop kills another black person.
Yeah, is it still race?
And my thing with that is,
I mean, just like the situation where those black cops
right.
killed.
But see, this is how sick I think the issue of race has gotten in America, is that with those black cops, there were 5 of them, killed that black dude, yet somehow some of these leaders are still trying to make it a white supremacist issue.
Yeah.
Well, it's the system. No, it's not the system. It's those 5 scoundrels.
Yeah, it's those people.
Those people are individual people.
Yeah.
That did something that they chose to do.
Yeah.
They weren't made. They weren't forced. They chose to do that. So
right.
I like something Malcolm said once. He said it's not about good or somebody asked him, do you think there's such thing as any good white people? And his response was very simple. He said, it's not a matter of being good or bad, black or white. It's about being good or bad person.
Right.
He said, when you lead with it's a person, not with the color, the issue of race starts to diminish.
Right.
Some things that's just a bad person.
Yeah.
His color didn't make him bad.
Right.
He's just a bad guy.
Yeah. And see, I got friends of all types of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And some are so close that to me they're my brother, they're my sisters, and I don't see them as being, oh, you this white guy,
right?
This, white girl, or like you're just family to me.
Just family, just good people for me. People. That's how I am. Even here, I've met here. I'm telling you, down here, I've met such a wide range of people.
I look at this place. I'm sorry. As you seen John Wick, right?
The first one I saw, I didn't see the whole second one.
Okay, yeah, because I think we talked.
We talked about last week. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that hotel.
It's a common ground.
It's that neutral spot.
It is.
And it's like once you come here, without even being said,
right,
you feel that however you may feel about whomever, whatever, that stops at the door.
Yep. We have one thing in common.
Yeah. Cigars.
Yeah. You're here because of the cigars.
Yeah.
And so you're not gonna not come because, man, it's some white guys down there, or it's some black guys.
Yeah.
There are men who like cigars.
Right.
And this is what this is for.
And even when you come in here sometimes with that mindset of, oh well, I don't know, that person looks kind of, but then when they speak to you,
that's what I'm saying.
You walk in, it's like, oh wow.
It's just a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Cigars is like it's a brotherhood, But yeah, I think we're living in the least, from my judgment, one of the least racist times in America. But everybody's screaming racism everywhere. It's like everything is about race. It's like, geez, there are so many other possibilities and ways to look at things rather than the color of somebody's skin.
Yeah.
Something so incidental, something that nobody has any control over.
Right.
And you want to break everything down to just the color of somebody's skin. I think that's a serious, serious problem. Serious problem. They did a poll a few years back, which they probably do it every year, but it was during the Obama administration.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about police brutality and things like that. Well, the people who lead in being killed by police officers is actually mentally disturbed white men. Mm. They get killed the most by police officers. But that's not what the news will tell you.
Yeah.
But I told the guy, I said, the news has to make money and has to get viewers.
Yeah.
The news will put on anything that will get a certain reaction from a certain community.
And unfortunately, it's bad news.
It's bad news, and it's always it's a racial component.
Yeah.
Because they know exactly how many black people will act
Yeah.
after that's put out. It's like, just say police officer
Yeah.
kills a man. Because
Leave it at that.
when you make it race, this is the problem. This is the problem you run into. If a white cop kills a black man, it's a racial issue.
Yeah.
Well, there are so many other factors
Yeah.
that are there that cause that man to pull that trigger.
Yeah.
It may not have anything to do with his race. There's so many other issues or possibilities of why he pulled the trigger that day. But it's at a point now, studies are showing now that because of the climate, white officers are less likely to shoot a black man because of all the negative attention surrounding it.
Yeah.
Than they would a white guy, which they would kill a white guy, then nobody says anything.
Right.
But wrong is wrong. If it's wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think we just basically just look at a life as being a life. You know what I'm saying? No matter where you come from, what your skin color is, it's a life is a life.
It's a life.
And let's just leave it at that.
Yep.
So where do we go from here? I said, where do we go from here? What are some things that you want to do with your life that could lead to a certain point of change or impact? You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily on a worldwide scale. You know what I'm saying? Because we never know what we may do that impacts others. You know what I'm saying? But what is something that in the way that you live your life that you unintentionally or maybe intentionally do that you're like, hey, I want to do this or live this way that shows other people that, hey.
I think for me personally, because those are questions that I ask myself. And sometimes when we ask ourselves those questions, what can I do? And like you said, our minds get really broad and you think, well, I want to affect this change and this. It really starts as an individual.
Yeah.
And one of the first things is accountability. You got to be accountable for your actions.
Right.
You have to be accountable for how you treat people.
Right.
You have to be accountable with your word, with whatever it is. It starts where you are.
Yeah.
And there's no leader, no politician, no preacher that can really affect anything. You have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And it starts with, I think, again, accountability, looking at things as they are, not necessarily just how you want them to be.
Right.
And understand that people have a different view than you.
Yeah.
And you arrived at your conclusions based on different factors.
Yeah.
And you got to respect that. Man, you might not agree. That's fine.
Right.
And sometimes you just can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And move on to something you agree on.
Yeah.
There's always something that you can find common.
And with that being said, I think we focus on too hard on the differences.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you look at all the differences, of course you can list everything that may be different, but then you realize too, once you flip that, just like you said earlier, you flip that and look at all of the similarities, you realize we're not as different as
not that different. Not that different at all.
I'm like and you look at how simple things really are and how complicated how we make it so complicated.
Right.
By adding all of these other factors in between, they really, at the end of the day, it don't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. Yeah.
And it's like, you can't change the people that it does matter to.
No.
Okay, yeah, well, you know what I'm saying, to this person, it does matter about color, about what it's saying. Okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
It matters to you, but it doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter.
And if that's the way you want to live your life, then, you know what I'm saying, that's fine. I don't have to associate with you.
Right. I don't. Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to force you.
Not at all.
To associate, you know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
It was one of my favorite movies is Lady in the Water by M.O.E.
Yeah, I remember how much you love that movie.
And folks laugh, but it's like that movie spoke to me in so many ways. Of course, M. Night and Stephen King always finds a way
Mm,
to insert themselves in their own movies in
Yeah,
some type of way,
always.
which is funny. But M. Night played this character who was writing this book called The Cookbook.
Mm,
And it was just his opinions on the world and some political views, blah, blah, this and that. And he didn't think that it was going to be anything.
right.
Well, the lady that, came out of the water told him that this boy will pick your book up off the shelf and some random book, read it, and go on to do great things based off of your point of view.
Mm,
So you never know the thing that you may see as insignificant, the thing that you may see as small, how it may change somebody else's world. So it's like you may not have been directly that person that was, became the president or,
right.
did this great thing, but you could have been that spark.
Yeah.
You could have been that little small thing that helped them to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
it's
well,
just
check. Well, let me show you this. Check this out. With what you just said, there's an episode,
that's why.
the Twilight Zone,
Here we go.
where this guy came and everybody's kind of scared of him because they weren't sure who he was. He befriended a little boy.
Mm.
And long story short, the guy actually come with the book, and they were scared of him, so they were scared of the book, and
Yeah.
all the book was a book with different healing methods.
Mm.
But they killed him before they found out because
Yeah.
they were so scared of him. But the little boy believed in him. You see, that's what I mean.
Kind of remind me of the Green Mile a little bit.
3 Mile. Oh, with I forgot. Yeah,
I forgot his
Big
name.
Coffee
John,
or whatever.
John Coffee.
Yeah, but it's the little boy that took the book and made something out of it. But they were so afraid of him. All he had was a book.
Yeah.
And the book was for them.
Yeah.
The book was to help them heal this and different medicines, but they killed him out of fear. They killed the very person who brought them a message.
Yeah.
Which that's an old story too. I mean, we
Yeah.
see that all through history. But that's the genius of Rod Serling. It's the way he tells a story.
Yeah.
Through cinema like that is just powerful.
And there's always a bigger message. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is, there's always a bigger message behind all of these things.
Yeah.
So that's why when it comes to just like the Chinese spy balloons and all the other type stuff,
Right.
it's like there's bigger things at play.
It is. It always is.
And my friend Steve he talked about that. He was like, always what we look at or what they draw our attention to over here, you don't see what's really going on over here.
Over here, yeah.
And he had mentioned, he said, nobody talks about when, I think it was Martin Luther King's brother or Malcolm X's brother, something like that, had got killed. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah, drowned in the pool.
Because
Drowned in the pool, yeah.
Yeah, because at that time, something else was going on.
Yeah.
And I forgot what he said, but he was like, everybody's attention was focused on over here.
Right.
But this was going on over here.
Yeah. And people also don't talk about, on that subject, that Dr. King's mom was assassinated a few years after him.
Mm.
In the church.
Wow.
At the piano, she was shot. You don't really hear that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always something. That's why the best thing is to live your life, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open.
Right.
But don't become so obsessed that you see a boogeyman around every corner.
Right.
You're always scared of something.
Right.
Did y'all hear about? I don't want to live like that. It's like that's no way to live. Everywhere you turn, you're scared of something.
Right.
Don't eat this. Eat this. Then you find out if I eat too much of this, then it's like use reason.
Yeah.
Of course. Use a safe bit of caution.
Right. Intuition.
And just live your life, man.
Life.
because none of us are getting out of here alive. While you're here, which we never know how long you have,
Right.
just enjoy your life, man.
Right.
And whatever that looks like for you.
Right.
You know, I can't tell you, well, you have to do this to enjoy your. No, you do whatever.
Yeah.
You know, as long as it's not harming other people.
Right.
Whatever floats your boat, do your thing. You know, no judgment from me. You know.
And if you do want to work on something, work on building your own community.
Yeah.
Of like-minded individuals,
Absolutely.
like-minded people. It doesn't matter
Absolutely.
what. Don't even put color in it at all. Just like-minded people who have the same type of sentiments or just want to live life in the way that you want to live life.
Yep. Find your tribe, man. You got to find your tribe. When you have your tribe, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Well, I think that's all, man.
Yeah, I think that's wraps it up. Sums it up.
Well, we appreciate y'all for listening, tuning in, supporting, subscribing, sharing, and we'll see y'all on the next episode. I've been Anthony Moore.
That's it. I'm Timothy Moore, and we're out.